No one screamed. No one was threatened. But one quiet sentence inside a small diner ended several careers and changed everything. It was spoken so softly that the cashiers believed it would disappear the moment it left their mouths. It didn't. Have you ever overheard someone say something they thought no one else could hear? What happened that afternoon wasn't caught on the news. There were no police sirens, no viral confrontation, but by the end of the day, a man most people ignored would expose a system that had grown comfortable mistreating people who couldn't fight back. And it all started with a sandwich. Would you have spoken up or stayed quiet? The diner sat on a familiar corner, the kind of place locals trusted without thinking too hard about why. When the man stepped inside, nothing about him stood out. Late 50s, plain clothes, tired eyes. He stood at the counter longer than most people, counting his money carefully, exact change, twice. Behind the register, one cashier leaned toward the other, lowering her voice just enough to feel safe. If he's counting coins, he shouldn't be eating out. The man heard it. He froze, not in embarrassment, but in recognition. Another cashier smirked. Watch, he's going to ask for extra napkins too. The man didn't respond. He didn't look up. He simply placed the money on the counter and spoke quietly. Whatever's cheapest today. The obstacle wasn't hunger. It was dignity. As the man waited, he watched, not the way bored customers do, but carefully. He noticed the security camera above the register, angled just enough to miss most transactions. He noticed the policy sign taped crookedly to the wall, printed small enough that no one ever read it. He noticed how the tip jar was hidden behind the register, not in front. When the waitress brought his coffee, he thanked her politely. Black is fine. Then, almost as an afterthought, he added, "My wife used to like this place, said it felt honest." The waitress paused, unsure how to reply. A little later, a young woman stepped up to the counter. She counted her cash once, then again. "I think I'm short," she said quietly. "Can I try my card again?" The cashier sighed loudly. "If it declines, you still owe us." It declined. The woman apologized, her face burning as people behind her shifted uncomfortably. She left without her food. The man watched her go. He didn't intervene. Instead, he tore a corner from a napkin and wrote something down. As the afternoon continued, the pattern repeated. Customers talked down too, change mishandled, small cruelties delivered casually as if they no longer mattered. When the man approached the shift manager, his tone remained calm. "Do complaints usually get reviewed with footage?" She barely looked at him. "Cameras don't work, haven't for months." The man nodded. "That's unfortunate." He finished his meal, paid an exact change, and walked out. Behind him, a cashier laughed. "See, they never do anything." For a moment, it seemed like she was right. The next morning, the diner opened as usual, but something felt different. A woman entered shortly after opening. She didn't order food. She didn't raise her voice. She placed a tablet on the counter. "I need yesterday's register logs." The manager frowned. "And you are—" The woman slid a badge forward. "Compliance." Minutes later, the television above the counter flickered on the screen. The man from the day before appeared on screen, seated in a quiet office, his expression composed. "I didn't come here to test kindness," he said evenly. "I came to observe behavior." Footage rolled. Eye rolls, shorted change, whispered insults, transactions voided after customers left. Every moment they thought no one important was listening. The diner was silent. When the man entered in person, there was no disguise this time. No anger either. Only disappointment. What do you think is worse, being cruel or believing you'll never be held accountable? Leave your comment down below. "This isn't about punishment," he said. "It's about responsibility." One cashier was dismissed. Previous complaints confirmed what the footage revealed. Another was suspended and ordered into retraining. The manager stood frozen, realizing how much she had ignored. Culture isn't what you say out loud, it's what you allow to happen quietly.
Weeks later, the diner felt different. Not louder, not perfect, just better. A customer came up short at the register one afternoon, apologizing before anyone could react. "That's okay," the cashier said with a smile. "We'll take care of it." Outside, the man watched through the glass for a moment before turning away. Power doesn't reveal who we are. It reveals who we've been practicing to become. So here's the real question. If no one important was listening, who would you be?